One afternoon, I approached the Buddha, my heart heavy with fear, a weight I could not name. Master, I began hesitantly. Why did I tremble so when faced with the thought of rejection by others? The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, calm as the still waters of a tranquil lake. His eyes, deep with understanding, rested on me as he motioned for me to sit by his side. My child, he said softly, tell me of this fear that grips your heart and obscures your peace. I gathered my thoughts, hesitant to expose the vulnerability I carried like a wound. When I speak, I fear my words may not be enough, that others may turn away from me. When I act, I fear their judgment, the possibility that I may be cast aside, unseen and unwanted. The Buddha listened intently, his silence drawing out my thoughts like a gentle current in a stream. When I finished speaking, he raised his hand, gesturing toward a withered tree on the edge of the grove. Do you see the tree yonder? Its branches frail and its leaves dry? He asked, his voice steady. Yes, Master, I replied, following his gaze to the forlorn figure of the tree. What do you perceive within it? This withered sentinel standing alone amidst the lush grove? He inquired further. I hesitated, unsure of how to answer the weight of his question. It seems lifeless, bearing no fruit. The Buddha nodded, his expression serene yet inscrutable, a reflection of wisdom unclouded by judgment. Now tell me, he continued, does this tree lament its barrenness, its solitude among the verdant forest? Master, I said, a flicker of curiosity stirring beneath the weight of my fear. And why do you think it does not weep for the birds that forsake its branches? The Buddha asked. I considered his words carefully, sensing the presence of a deeper truth within them. It does not lament because it simply is, accepting its nature without questioning its place, I said slowly. The Buddha's lips curved into a faint smile, a ripple of approval for the understanding I began to grasp. You see, he said, his voice carrying the warmth of a sunbeam piercing through dense foliage. Rejection is like the bird. It seeks another perch not out of spite for this tree, but because its needs differ from what is here. The tree, steadfast in its existence, understands that its worth is not diminished by a bird's absence. I sat in silence, the truth of his words washing over me like a gentle tide upon the shore. But Master, I ventured, my voice trembling with the remnants of doubt, how can I, unlike the tree, embrace such wisdom? He turned to me, his gaze unwavering, his presence a balm to the ache within my chest. Come closer. My child, he said, extending his hand to beckon me nearer to his profound stillness. As I moved closer, he reached out and plucked a brittle leaf from the ground beside him. Hold this leaf in your hand, he instructed, his tone calm yet firm, inviting no resistance to his request. I took the leaf, its fragile edges crumbling slightly beneath the gentle press of my fingers. Now release it, the Buddha said, his words simple yet carrying a weight beyond their apparent brevity. I obeyed, watching as the leaf drifted to the earth, carried lightly by the faintest whisper of wind. Did the leaf resist your grasp? Did it cry out for your touch to remain upon it? He asked. No, Master, I answered, a strange calm beginning to blossom within me, replacing the fear I had brought. This is the way you must learn to be, he said, his voice low yet resonant with undeniable clarity. To release the fear of rejection is to release the leaf, to let go of what is not yours to hold. But how? Master? I asked, the depth of his wisdom both inspiring and overwhelming in its simplicity. Understand that the approval of others is like the bird, like the leaf. It comes and it goes. It is not a reflection of your essence, your truth, but merely a mirror of their fleeting needs. You, like the tree, are whole regardless of who stays or departs, who praises or dismisses. Anchor yourself not in the ever-changing winds of others' opinions but in the unshakable ground of your own being. His words etched themselves into my heart, each syllable a seed of truth planted within the soil of my spirit. I looked at the withered tree once more, its presence transformed by the wisdom the Buddha had unveiled. Where before I saw barrenness, I now saw resilience. Where before I saw solitude, I now saw unwavering presence. Tears welled in my eyes, not of sorrow but of gratitude for the freedom his teachings had begun to offer. The Buddha placed a hand upon my shoulder, the warmth of his touch a reassurance I could not describe. Go now, he said, his voice like the gentle rustling of leaves in a soft breeze. And carry this truth with you. Remember, the fear of rejection is but an illusion, a shadow that dissipates in the light of understanding. As I rose to leave, I felt lighter, as though the burden I had carried had been lifted from my soul. I walked away from the grove, the withered tree standing as a silent guardian of the wisdom I had gained, and though the fear did not vanish entirely, it no longer held the same power over me as before. The Buddha's words echoed within me, a melody of truth that would guide my steps and fortify my heart. Thus, the seed of his teaching began to grow, its roots sinking deep into the fertile soil of my awakening. Another day, as the morning light spilled across the land, I approached the Buddha while he sat in silence. Master, I said, my voice carrying the weight of doubt, why does the longing for others' approval cause such pain? The Buddha opened his eyes, gazing upon me with an expression both tender and infinitely wise. Come closer, my child, he said, motioning for me to sit upon the earth by his side. He gestured toward the village well, its stony silhouette standing amidst the golden glow of the rising sun. Do you see the well? He asked, his voice as gentle as the morning breeze. Yes, Master, I replied, curious about the lesson awaiting me within his question. Within the well lies water, he continued, a gift to quench the thirst of all who come. Yet tell me, he asked, can the water within this well serve every villager's need, no matter their number? Master, I answered, the truth of his question evident in its simplicity. And why not? He prompted, his voice inviting me to uncover the deeper meaning woven within his words. Because there is only so much water within the well, I said, seeking to grasp the path his teaching led. Precisely, the Buddha affirmed, his voice calm yet resonant, carrying the weight of an eternal truth. Approval from others is like the water within the well. He explained, his gaze unyielding yet compassionate. No matter how much you seek, it can never fully quench the thirst that arises within your spirit. Why? Master? I asked, the yearning for understanding burning brightly within me. Because this thirst cannot be quenched by the world outside you, he said, his tone imbued with unwavering conviction. It is only the waters drawn from the well of your own spirit that can truly sustain you. I pondered his words, the depth of their meaning slowly sinking into the soil of my understanding. The Buddha then turned his gaze toward a woman who approached the well, a vessel in her hands. Watch, he instructed, his eyes following the woman's movements as she lowered her vessel into the depths. The vessel emerged filled with water, droplets shimmering like diamonds in the light of the rising sun. The woman paused, her face a mirror of contentment as she lifted the vessel and carried it away. Tell me, my child, the Buddha said, does the well chase after her, crying for her to return its water? Master, I replied, the imagery evoking a sudden clarity within me. So too must your spirit learn to be, the Buddha said, the warmth of his words embracing my restless heart. When you draw joy from the well of your own spirit, you no longer depend on the opinions of others. These opinions, like the water taken from the well, come and go, transient and fleeting. It is the strength of your own spirit unyielding as the stones of the well, that sustains your peace. His teachings flowed over me like the cool waters of the well, extinguishing the flames of my doubt, yet a question lingered, casting shadows across the clarity his words had offered me. But Master, I began, hesitating as uncertainty pressed against the edges of my thoughts. What if I fail? What if my own spirit falters, unable to sustain me in the absence of others' approval? The Buddha turned toward me, his gaze piercing yet gentle, as though seeing the doubts I had yet to voice. Do you know of the lotus flower? He asked, his words a guiding light through the labyrinth of my doubts. Yes, Master, I said, the image of the lotus blooming within my mind, a symbol of beauty and purity. Where does the lotus take root? He inquired, his voice steady, drawing me further into the heart of his teaching. In the mud, Master, I replied, the juxtaposition of its humble origins and its radiant bloom filling me with wonder. So too does your spirit, like the lotus, take root in the challenges and fears you face, he explained. Your failures are not the end but the fertile soil from which your strength and resilience will grow. To falter is not to fall. It is to plant the seeds of wisdom that will blossom with time. His words, like the rays of the sun upon the lotus, nurtured my understanding, dispelling the shadows of my doubt. The Buddha extended his hand toward me, his presence a wellspring of unwavering support and compassion. Come, he said, rising from his seat, his robes flowing like ripples upon a tranquil pond. We walked together toward the well, its presence a silent witness to the truths he had shared. He bent down, his hands cupping the water, and held it aloft, letting it cascade back into the depths. Do you see, my child, how the water returns to its source? Ever replenished, ever flowing? Yes, Master, I said, the rhythm of the water a reflection of the eternal cycle of giving and receiving. So must your spirit flow, drawing from its own depths and returning to replenish itself, he said. Approval from others is but a drop in the vast ocean of your being, momentary and transient, yet the ocean of your own spirit is boundless, its depths infinite, sustaining you through all of life's storms. The Buddha's teachings, like the ripples within the well, spread outward, touching the farthest corners of my heart. As we walked away from the well, the sunlight bathing the land in its golden embrace, I felt a quiet joy. The fears and doubts that had clouded my thoughts began to dissipate, replaced by the clarity of his wisdom. And though the path ahead remained uncertain, I walked with a newfound confidence, anchored in the wellspring of my spirit. Thus, the lessons of the well and the lotus flower became the foundation upon which I would build my peace. The Buddha's words, like seeds cast upon fertile ground, took root within me, their growth steady and unyielding. And in the days to come, whenever fear or doubt arose, I would remember the well, the lotus, and the teachings of the Buddha, for within his words lay the truth that would guide me, the light that would lead me, and the peace that would sustain me. Another day, as twilight painted the horizon in hues of amber, I approached the Buddha with a trembling heart. Master, I began, my voice uncertain. My fear of speaking before others paralyzes me, rendering my thoughts scattered and my voice weak. The Buddha turned his serene gaze toward me, his presence a bastion of calm amidst the turmoil of my thoughts. Come, my child, he said gently, gesturing for me to sit beneath the Bodhi tree by his side. Tell me, he continued, his voice steady, what is it about this act of speaking that fills you with such dread? I hesitated, unsure of how to articulate the shadow of fear that clung to me like a shroud. When I speak, Master, I began slowly, I feel the weight of their judgment, the fear of being deemed unworthy. I feel as though their eyes pierce through me, exposing my vulnerabilities, casting doubt upon my worthiness to be heard. The Buddha listened intently, his silence drawing my words forth like a stream emerging from hidden springs. When I finished, he raised his hand, pointing to the ground where my shadow stretched beside me. "Do you see your shadow, my child?" he asked, his question both simple and profound. "Yes, Master," I replied, glancing down at the dark figure that mirrored my every movement. "And tell me," the Buddha continued, "does your shadow judge you? Or does it simply follow where you tread?" "It merely follows, Master," I said, the simplicity of his observation stirring something deep within me. "So it is with fear of judgment," the Buddha explained, his voice a steady current of understanding. "It is but a shadow, cast by the light of your thoughts, existing only because you allow it to." "But Master," I asked, my voice trembling with lingering doubt, "how can I dispel this shadow that looms so large?" The Buddha reached out, his hand brushing against a small flame flickering upon a nearby lamp. "Look at this flame," he said, his voice soft yet imbued with the weight of an eternal truth. "Does the flame fear the shadow it casts? Or does it simply burn? Unyielding in its nature? It simply burns, Master," I replied, the beauty of the flame's indifference to its shadow resonating deeply within me. "You, my child, are like this flame," the Buddha said, his words a balm to the ache of my fear. "The shadow of doubt may follow you, but it cannot diminish the light of your truth unless you let it." I sat in silence, his words weaving themselves into the fabric of my being, their wisdom illuminating my heart. "But Master," I ventured, my voice still tinged with uncertainty, "what if my light falters and the shadow overtakes me?" The Buddha smiled, a gesture as gentle as the first rays of dawn breaking through the night. "Do you know why the stars shine, even in the vast darkness of the night sky?" he asked. "No, Master," I said, the vastness of his question humbling me before the enormity of the truth it held. "The stars shine not because they deny the darkness but because they embrace it, illuminating the world despite it. Your light, like the stars, is not diminished by the presence of shadow but is made visible because of it." His words, like the stars themselves, became points of light within the expanse of my doubt, guiding me toward clarity. The Buddha then motioned toward the horizon, where the sun began its descent, painting the sky in vibrant hues. "Tell me, my child," he said, "does the setting sun fear the encroaching darkness of the night?" "Number, Master," I replied, the beauty of the twilight a testament to the harmony between light and darkness, so too must you. Learn to live, unafraid of the shadows that accompany your light, the Buddha said. Understand that fear is but a reflection of your own thoughts, a creation of the mind that can be released, to dispel the shadow. You need not fight it. You must simply let your light shine unimpeded. As the day gave way to night, the Buddha's teachings settled within me, their truth as steadfast as the stars above, and though the fear of judgment lingered like a shadow at the edge of my thoughts, its hold on me weakened. The Buddha's words, like the flame and the stars, illuminated the path ahead, guiding me toward the courage I sought. I rose from my seat beneath the Bodhi tree, my heart lighter, my spirit more steadfast than it had been. The shadow of doubt still followed me, but it no longer defined me, no longer dimmed the light within, for within the Buddha's teachings, I found the strength to embrace my truth, to let my light shine without fear. Thus, the wisdom of the flame, the stars, and the setting sun became the foundation of my newfound courage. The Buddha's words, like seeds scattered upon fertile soil, took root within me, their growth steady and unyielding. And in the days to come, whenever fear or doubt arose, I would remember the flame, the stars, and the Buddha, for within his teachings lay the truth that would guide me, the light that would lead me, and the peace that would sustain me. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.